Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome to this afternoon's concert, UNIDOS, Music of Latin America, performed by the Muskingum Valley Symphonic Winds and the Muskingum Wind Ensemble. This concert contains music by Latin American and Hispanic composers, as well as American composers that celebrate Latin American heritage. We opened with Jaime Texidor's Amparita Roca, a staple of the band repertoire. He is a Spanish composer born in Barcelona, Spain in the late 1800s, was active in the early 1900s as a military and civilian band leader in various cities throughout Spain. He was also a prolific composer, writing over 500 works. Amparita Roca is a paso doble, which when translated into Spanish means double step, is a fast-paced Spanish military march. Its speed allowed troops to progress twice as fast, and this type of march also gave rise to a modern Spanish dance, which includes voice and instruments, and a genre of instrumental music often played during bullfighting. We continue with another work with a strong Spanish influence. Alfred Reed is an American composer who wrote El Camino Real, which translated The Royal Road, and is subtitled A Latin Fantasy. It's a tribute to the fiery Spanish flamenco guitarists. You will hear the chord progressions and key relationships that have become synonymous with Spanish music. Reed also bases the two primary sections of the music on two authentic dances, the jota and the fandango. Please enjoy El Camino Real. So after our next work, there will be a 15-minute intermission, and if you haven't been to Brown Chapel before, there are restrooms downstairs, and you'll be able to buy tickets for the raffle if you have not done that already. $50 gift card to Talakepake, and you can do that out in the lobby if you didn't see that before or haven't had a chance to do that. All right, our next work, completely different than the first two works that you've heard. We joined a consortium of around 50 schools all across the country, and I think even some schools in Canada. A consortium is when a bunch of schools get together and pay a composer it's an affordable way to commission a new work of art, in this case music. And we commissioned Giovanni Santos to compose a work to honor Cesar Chavez. And how commission works is that all the consortium members have exclusive rights to perform the work for the first year, and then after that, others can perform it. So I think the very first performance of this piece was, I think last month, maybe in September, but I'm not sure. This performance tonight is considered a consortium premiere, and did confirm from the composer it's certainly an Ohio premiere. So it's kind of one of the first times you get to hear a piece, and it's really neat to put it together because you do not, when you perform music, you often use reference recordings to decide how you're going to interpret and do different things, and there are none, other than what the composer suggests to do. So it's fun to do, and you do some collaboration with the composer sometimes. It's sort of like a new venture. So now about the work. So Cesar Chavez lived from 1927 to 1993 and was a Mexican-American civil rights activist and leader. Alongside Dolores Huerta, he co-founded the National Farm Workers Association, which ultimately became the United Farm Workers. And he worked tirelessly for equal rights and humane working conditions for farm workers, primarily out in California, which led the way for major changes in workers' rights in the United States. And in 1994, was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The composer, Giovanni Santos, is currently on the faculty at La Sierra University in Riverside, California, where he directs a wind ensemble, jazz ensemble, and teaches instrumental music education courses. He was born and raised in Puerto Rico before moving to San Diego, and has degrees from La Sierra University and University of Southern California and Florida State University. And he's used some Chavez quotes as inspiration for the work, and I thought I would read just a few of them to give you an idea of maybe his inspiration for the work. So a few of those. There's no turning back. We will win. We are winning because ours is a revolution of the mind and heart. We draw our strength from the despair in which we have been forced to live. We shall endure. History will judge societies and governments, not by how big they are or how well they serve the rich and powerful, but by how effectively they respond to the needs of the poor and the helpless. And finally, true wealth is not measured in money or status or power. It is measured in the legacy we leave behind for those we love and those we inspire. So this piece is quite a journey. It's about 10 or 11 minutes long. So what you'll hear, there's a fair amount of dissonance, and that reflects what Chavez would have felt as he worked to improve workers' conditions. It would have been fractious. There's some dance-type music, which would kind of draws on Chavez's Mexican heritage. There's some really powerful moments. There's some poignant moments, and ultimately some triumphal moments. So we hope you enjoy this premiere performance of Chavez 1927. Welcome back to the second half of the program. We'll open this half with a work by Clifton Williams, a prolific American composer of wind band music from the middle of the 20th century. Symphonic Dance Number 3, subtitled Fiesta, is one of 5 symphonic dances commissioned by the San Antonio Symphony Orchestra to celebrate its 25th anniversary in 1964. Each of the 5 dances represents the spirit of a different time and place in the history of San Antonio. This dance reflects the excitement and color of the city's many Mexican celebrations. The introductory brass fanfare creates an atmosphere of tense anticipation, while the bells, solo trumpet, and woodwinds herald the arrival of an approaching festival. The brass announce the matador's arrival to the bullring, and the finale evokes a joyous climax to the festivities. We present to you Symphonic Dance Number 3. Pedro Iturralde was a Spanish saxophonist, composer, and pioneer in jazz. He studied at the Madrid Conservatory and later at the Berklee Conservatory in Boston. He led his own jazz quartet in Madrid, experimenting with the combined use of flamenco and jazz and making recordings for the Blue Note label. In the latter part of his career, he taught saxophone at the Madrid Conservatory. When he was 20 years old, he composed Pequeña Charda, or Little Dance, for alto saxophone and piano. A charda is a popular Hungarian dance in binary form characterized by variation in tempo. A charda will start slowly and end in a very fast tempo. Iturralde's Pequeña Charda has some of that characteristic, making it a showpiece for our saxophone soloist. Our soloist today is Frankie Wantu, Muskingum instructor of saxophone. She is in her second year at Muskingum and is currently pursuing a doctoral degree in saxophone performance at The Ohio State University. And I should note that she actually performed a recital today earlier at noon at Ohio State. It's her second performance today. And she is a terrific musician, and one of the perks of teaching at Muskingum is having tremendous faculty all around me. And she's a great musician, performer, and teacher, and a great colleague. And we have thoroughly enjoyed collaborating with her. You're in for a real treat today. So please help me welcome Frankie Wantu to the stage to perform Iturralde's Pequeña Charda. All right, as the wind ensemble students come back on stage, make a few acknowledgments before we close out the concert. We have one more piece for you. I'd like to thank Orbit Media for live streaming today's concert. Thank you very much for that. The program lists the Symphonic Winds board members, but there are some board members in attendance, and there's a couple board members in the ensemble. I'd like to ask them to stand. They do a lot of work, some fundraising, some planning organizations. So board members, please stand and be recognized. If you're in the band, if you're out in the audience. I'd like to acknowledge the Ohio Arts Council. We are we work in collaboration, or a partnership, I should say, with Muskingum University, but we do operate as a nonprofit, and we partially funded by the Ohio Arts Council, as is noted in the program. So it's grateful to have an organization like that that funds organizations like ourselves that do artistic endeavors. The patrons and donors are listed in the program, and sponsors, whether they be businesses or individuals. We would like to thank all of you that are in attendance, and whether you're in attendance or not. Thank you so much for you, or those of you that made donations tonight. Thank you so much. Can we thank all of those folks? The next Symphonic Winds concert is Sunday, February 19th at 3 p.m. right here in Brown Chapel also. I would like to thank all of the musicians on stage, the regular Symphonic Winds members, and the students that have joined us this afternoon for all their hard work. The Symphonic Winds, we've lost track of how many years we have been working because COVID kind of threw our numbers out the window a little bit. I think we're calling this our 30th year celebration. So 30 years ago, or more than 30 years ago, we were created. So it's been great that this has worked this long, and we've been in existence, and we continue going strong. So wide range of folks in the Symphonic Winds. We have community members, we have teachers, we have professional musicians, we have Muskingum faculty, we have within the regular Symphonic Winds students also, and it's a really a great type of ensemble because it's a broad range of individuals and musicians, amateurs to pros, and it's really cross generations and all walks of life, so it's a kind of a unique ensemble, so it's great to have. And what you may be waiting for, the drawing for the dinner at Tlakepake. So my assistants here who graciously, and I don't want to draw, so I'm going to ask one of them to draw. So we're doing this by numbers? Yes. Excellent. Drum roll. Oh, that was very quick. We did not plan this. Number, if I can see, 582642. I do not hear screams of joy. Oh, I see a hand of joy. Raise your hand. All right, somebody knows somebody. Yay! So we will get that to you. Congratulations. And maybe a special thank you to Tlakepake for donating the gift card. We thought it was very fitting for our UNIDOS concert. So fantastic. We'll put that in there. All right, thank you very much. And the final number, if I could describe it in one word, fun. This is Tico Tico by Zequina Abreu, a Brazilian composer who's a child prodigy and one of the most successful Brazilian songwriters of the early modern song era. Tico Tico is an example of Brazilian instrumental musical genre, choro, which translates to cry or lament. But contrary to this genre is characterized by virtuosity, improvisation, syncopation, and counterpoint. It's considered the first characteristically Brazilian genre of urban popular music. Most importantly for us, it's just a whole lot of fun to play and makes us want to move. So feel free to start dancing in the aisles if you want to. Thanks again for joining us this afternoon, and please enjoy Tico Tico.